Hey guys, this is Katie Weaver with True Crime Paranormal, coming to you with some live breaking news that we didn't want to sit on for any longer. We actually do have a video that's coming out today, but this was too important to wait on. So Christy's traveling, so I'm on my own, but I just needed to be able to put this information out immediately. We have just learned within the last 20 minutes or so that the affidavit for the arrest warrant for Chad Daybell has been unsealed. I am going to read it to you line by line. I want to give you a trigger alert right away that some of this is very disturbing and hard to hear. And so, heads up now. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with it. Just released all of this information just a few minutes ago. This, of course, are unsealed documents. This was the state of Idaho versus Chad Daybell. This is all sounding the findings of the children's remains on Chad's property. So I'm going to just start at the top. This was written by Lieutenant Ron Ball of the Rexburg Police Department. So I'm going to go line by line. So number one, the information contained herein is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. 2, I am a detective with the Rexburg Police Department and have been employed in law enforcement for more than 27 years. Again, this is Lieutenant Ron Ball who wrote this affidavit. I'm currently the lieutenant over investigations for, and there's a lapse right there where I'm missing a doc, and I'm sure we'll get it, but I'm going to keep going. He says this is number 6. The last verifiable sighting of J.J. Vallow was September 22nd, 2019 in his mother's care. You know what? I'm missing a page and that's not going to do. Okay. Sorry, you guys. Thought I had everything together. And I did. It's here somewhere. This is all very disconnected, but I don't want to miss a whole page like that. So I'm going to go back. No, I think maybe we are just missing a page. All right. Well, I'm just going to spill out to you everything that we have. So the last verifiable sighting of J.J. Vallow was September 22nd, 2019 in his mother's apartment located at 565 Pioneer Road, 175 Rexburg, Idaho by Lori's friend Melanie Gibb. While the Rexburg police and FBI have received many tips of alleged sightings since the beginning of the case, none of these tips have led to any verifiable or actionable information regarding the health, safety, or location of the minor children. Number 7, Lori Vallow moved to Rexburg on or about September 1st, 2019 with her children, Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow and her brother, Alex Cox. Lori resided with her children at 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 175, Rexburg, Idaho. Alex resided in the same complex, initially living in the same unit as Lori, and then moving into his own unit at 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 107, Rexburg, Idaho. Number 8, Lori Vallow's close friend Melanie Gibb has cooperated with Idaho and Arizona law enforcement regarding the investigation of the children. Melanie Gibb has reported that from September 19, 2019, through the morning of September 23, 2019, she visited Lori Vallow at her new residence in Rexburg, Idaho. Gibb reports that when she arrived in Rexburg, Lori informed her that J.J. Vallow had become a zombie. Gibb further reports that the term zombie refers to an individual whose mortal spirit has left their body and their body has the host of another spirit. The new spirit in a zombie is always considered a dark spirit. While the dark spirit inhabits the host body, the person's true spirit goes into limbo and is stuck there until the host body is physically killed. As such, the death of the physical body is seen as the mechanism by which the body's original spirit can be released from limbo. This belief was told to Gibb by Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow had learned it from Chad Daybell and immediately told Gibb. Gibb was present with Lori Vallow when Chad Daybell first taught Lori this information over the phone in early 2019 in reference to Charles Vallow. Remember that they had decided that Charles Vallow was now a zombie and his body had been overtaken by somebody named Nick. Melanie Gibb has further informed me that Lori Vallow called Tylee a zombie in the spring of 2019. Gibb was on the phone with Lori and heard Lori call Tylee a zombie, to which Tylee responded, "Not me, Mom." This arose out of Lori requiring Tylee to babysit JJ, and Tylee did not want to. Lori Vallow also told Gibb that Tylee had turned into a zombie when she was 12 or 13, which was approximately the same time Tylee had become difficult to deal with. Number 10, Melanie Gibb has further informed me that she was told by Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow that they held the religious belief that they were a part of the Church of the Firstborn, and their mission in that church was to lead the 144,000 mentioned in the book of Revelation. They also stated that their mission was to rid the world of zombies. On January 26, 2020, a search warrant was served on Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow in Kauai, where they were living and on their vehicle. Living and on their vehicle. The children were not found with Chad and Lori in Hawaii, and no evidence was found to suggest that they were living with Chad and Lori. Through this investigation, we have discovered that J.J. Vallow was registered at Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg the first week of September 2019. Kennedy School was informed that J.J. had an individual education plan, an IEP, due to his autism. Kennedy Elementary was in the process of creating a new IEP for J.J. September 23, 2019, J.J. had an unexcused absence. On September 24, 2020, Lori Vallow called Vicki Barton of the Madison School District and informed her that JJ was going to Louisiana with his grandparents and wouldn't be home until the end of October and maybe later. On October 29th, Madison School District was informed that JJ would be homeschooled. During searches of Lori's apartment in Rexburg and subsequent searches of her apartment in Kauai, no evidence of homeschooling material was ever found. No other school district has ever requested JJ's records from the Madison School District. As mentioned, the last verifiable sighting of Tylee Ryan was in Yellowstone National Park on September 8, 2019. Photographs established that she was there with her mother, Lori Vallow, and her brother, JJ Vallow, and her uncle, Alex Cox. They drove there in Alex's silver Ford F-150. The trip was further established by tracking the GPS, cell tower connections, and Google account information on Alex Cox's phone. The Cellular Analysis Team, hereinafter known as CAST, is an FBI unit that provides analysis of cell phone records and presents the information to law enforcement. CAST has analyzed Alex Cox's phone and provided the location information mentioned in paragraph 13. The CAST analysis provides the location of Cox's phone. Due to my training, this is again written by Lieutenant Ron Ball. Due to my training and experience and common knowledge, I am aware that most individuals now keep their cell phones with them at all times, and the location of an individual's phone can be used to establish the location of the owner of the phone. CAST uses a cell phone device, GPS data points, cell tower connections, Wi-Fi connections, and Google tracking information to establish the location of a cell phone. The GPS data points used by CAST are considered to be highly accurate and can place the device within a 6-meter radius. CAST has further informed law enforcement that Cox's phone exited the west entrance of Yellowstone National Park at 1840. His phone appeared to be at Buckaroo's Barbecue Grill in West Yellowstone, Montana, from 1845 to 1902. Cox then returned to Rexburg at approximately 2037. The phone is then at Lori's apartment, number 175, until 2135, at which time Cox appeared to go to the Maverick on Main Street in Rexburg at 2143 until 2153. Cox then went back to Lori's apartment from 2244 to 2315. At 2344, Cox is located at his residence, apartment 107. On Monday, September 9th, from 12 a.m. and 0400, Cox's phone was located at apartment 107. However, at 2:42 a.m. to 3:37 a.m., Cox is located again at Lori's apartment, where Lori lived with Tylee and JJ. This is significant not only because he is there in the middle of the night, but because this is the only time in September he appears to go over to Lori's between midnight to 6 a.m. At 4:37 in the morning, Alex went back to his apartment until 8:59 a.m. At 9:21, he was located at a property with the address of 202 North 1900 East, Rexburg, which is the residence of Chad Daybell. It should be noted that Chad Daybell's address is listed as Rexburg. It is actually in Fremont County, Idaho. The 921 reading is a GPS data point and places him behind the home on Daybell's property near the east end of the barn. Okay. Sorry. All right. On June 23rd, 2020, I interviewed Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend David Warwick in Pleasant Grove, Utah. We discussed in depth the weekend of September 22nd and 23rd, due to the fact that both Gibb and Warwick stayed at Lori Vallow's residence in Rexburg that weekend. Gibb informed me, consistent with information that she has previously given. We've missed another page. I'm really sorry, you guys. I don't like being out of order here, and I'm not sure why that has happened, but I want to get back. Some pages were just actually flat out missing. But I know we've missed something because there was something about Alex going to Taco Bell. Okay. So give me 1 second while we find that. Again, I apologize, but this is breaking news. And we're trying to get it out to you guys as fast as we can. And so apparently, occasionally, we're going to miss something here. There it is. Okay. So going back. So Alex Cox's phone was still at the Daybell residence at 10:39 a.m. At 10:47, his phone shows a hit at the city of St. Anthony. At this time, we are unable to tell if he is actually inside the city limits of St. Anthony. St. Anthony is about a 5-minute drive from the Daybell residence, or if this was a cell tower pinging on his phone while he was still at the Daybell residence. At 10:57 to 11:39, Cox is located at the Daybell property. At 11:52 to 12:02, he was at Del Taco in Rexburg. He appears to spend most of the day in his apartment. Throughout this investigation, the Rexburg Police Department and FBI have seized, searched, and analyzed multiple cellular devices pursuant to several warrants. On June 1st, I was informed by Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI that the FBI had been examining a phone believed to be owned by Tammy Daybell. Tammy was Chad's wife and died on October 19th, 2019. The FBI found a text conversation between Tammy and her husband, Chad Daybell, on September 9th, 2019, which is the day after the last known sighting of Tylee Ryan in Yellowstone National Park. I'm going to note here that that was a Monday, and Tammy would have been at work. She was a school librarian. The text conversation reads as follows. Chad to Tammy at 11:53 a.m. Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all of the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times. Chad to Tammy at 11:56. I'm going to go shower now and then go right for a while at BYU. Love you. Tammy to Chad at 2:47. Good for you. Chad to Tammy at 2:48. I'm back home now. Okay. Now back. On June 24th, I interviewed Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend David Warwick in Pleasant Grove, Utah. And again, the speaker, is Lieutenant Ron Ball. He's the person who wrote this affidavit. We discussed in length the weekend of September 22nd and 23rd, 2019, due to the fact that Gibb and Warwick stayed at Lori Vallow's residence in Rexburg that weekend. Gibb informed me, consistent with information she has previously given to law enforcement, that she arrived in Rexburg on September 19th, 2019. Soon after she arrived, Lori Vallow informed Gibb that JJ had become a zombie and pointed out behaviors such as sitting and watching TV, claiming JJ said he loved Satan, and an increased vocabulary as evidence that JJ was now a zombie. Gibb observed JJ's behavior and felt it to be the same as it had always been. The last time Gibb and Warwick verifiably saw JJ was the night of September 22nd, 2019. Warwick informed us that it was late and that Gibb, Vallow, and Warwick were going to do a podcast. Warwick said that JJ was acting up, and so Alex Cox took JJ to his apartment in the complex. When Alex returned later that night, he was carrying JJ, who appeared to be asleep with his head on Alex's shoulder. Warwick specifically remembered this because he saw it as a tender moment. Warwick further informed us that when he woke up in the morning of September 23rd, 2019, he asked Lori where JJ was. This was between 8 and 9 a.m. Lori informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had been acting like a zombie and had been crawling on the kitchen cabinetry and had gotten on top of the cabinetry in the space between the cabinetry and ceiling. She informed Warwick and Gibb that when JJ climbed on the cabinetry, he had knocked a picture of Jesus off of the refrigerator. Vallow then informed Warwick and Gibb that Alex had come and taken JJ. The FBI CAS team has analyzed Alex Cox's movements the morning of September 23rd, 2019 by his cell phone GPS. At 9:55, Alex is again on the Daybell property. He was there until 10:12. The pings on his phone locate Alex near the pond on Chad's property at the northern edge of the property. On June 23rd, 2020, I asked Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI to analyze the frequency of Alex Cox's visits to Chad Daybell's property during the month of September 2019. His response was, "Per your request, I checked the visits to Alex's house again. There were only 4 visits by Alex during the month of September. These were on 9/6, 9/9, 9/23, and 9/25. During the 2 visits on 9/6 and 9/25, the pings were in and around the house, and there were no pings anywhere in the backyard near the fire pit or pond. As you can see, these visits were also short, about 11 minutes and 17 minutes, like the one on 9/23, 17 minutes. The visit on 9/9 was the only long visit, 9/9, that's the day that Tylee disappeared, the day after, approximately 2.5 hours. On June 9th, 2020, a search warrant was executed at Chad Daybell's residence and property. There was one other note that I wanted to make. On June 22nd, Detective Bruce Mattingly of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office contacted Samantha Williams, who is the sister of Tammy Daybell. He asked her if she was aware of a pet cemetery on Chad and Tammy Daybell's property in Idaho. She informed him that she was aware of the pet cemetery and stated that both she and Tammy were pet people, and they both had pet cemeteries. When asked the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property, she stated that it was east of the Red Barn and near the fire pit. On June 4th, 2020, I spoke with Samantha and she informed me that she was aware of the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property because Tammy had showed it to her. Samantha was then shown aerial photographs of the Daybell property and she pointed to the same area near the fire pit where Alex Cox's phone pinged on September 9th, 2019. And again, on June 9th, 2020, a search warrant was executed at Chad Daybell's residence and property. With the assistance of local FBI ERT team, we located at least multiple sites of interest. These sites were identified and corresponded to the cellular data of Alex Cox's phone when he was on the property, mentioned in paragraphs 12 through 16. Additionally, one of the possible sites correlated to a location on the property Chad had texted his wife about, mentioned in paragraphs 17 and 18. The first site of interest was located on the north side of the pond, near the north edge of the property. This site corresponded with 2 GPS pings from Alex Cox's phone on September 23, 2019. A patch of ground was located that appeared to be disturbed. The weed growth on top of the disturbed ground was shorter than the surrounding weed growth. What appeared to be sod etching was also noticed. The disturbed area was approximately 4 feet by 2.5 feet. Members of the FBI ERT team removed the top layer of sod. Underneath the layer of sod were several large flat rocks. The rocks were removed and 2 pieces of flat paneling were found. The paneling was removed and investigators exposed a rough object covered in black plastic. Upon exposing the round object covered in black plastic, a strong odor was noticed. An FBI ERT member used a small, sharp instrument and made a small incision in the plastic, and a layer of white plastic was observed. An incision was made into the white layer of plastic, exposing what appeared to be human remains, the crown of a head covered in light brown hair. The remaining dirt around this object was methodically removed, exposing what appeared to be a body wrapped in plastic. The plastic appeared to be tightly wrapped around the body and secured with gray duct tape. Cheryl Anderson, associate professor of anthropology at Boise State, was present on scene and advised the remains found near the pond to be human. A second site of interest was located behind a red, unattached outbuilding, located roughly in the center of the property near a fire pit. Next to the fire pit is an area used as a pet cemetery. This site correlated to several GPS pings of Alex Cox's phone on September 9, 2019. Ground in this area was probed with a steel pole, and several areas of disturbed ground were located. During a search of this ground, a buried cat and dog remains were found. A backhoe was used to further dig layers of dirt. While doing this, bricks were located approximately a foot below the ground. Once the bricks were discovered, the soil was examined, and what appeared to be 2 bones were located. Based on the condition of the bones, Cheryl Anderson was not able to determine whether the bones were human. Methodically, the dirt in this area was searched, and several other items of interest were found, including other bones, charred tissue, and charred bones. Cheryl Anderson indicated these additional bones, both charred and uncharred, and tissue found, were human remains. Investigators provided photos of some of the partial remains that were found at the pet cemetery to Sarah Getz, PhD, a forensic anthropologist. Dr. Getz was able to identify those remains as being non-adult human remains. While officers were conducting their search, Chad Daybell was observed by officers to be continuously watching where officers were searching. He was observed watching officers while sitting in his vehicle in his front driveway and while sitting in his vehicle across the street at his daughter's residence. At the time the head mentioned in paragraphs 32 and 33 was discovered, Chad Daybell was observed leaving his daughter's residence in a gray SUV. I and other officers pursued him in police vehicles, conducted a traffic stop, and detained him due to the fact that human remains had been discovered on his property. Dated the 10th of June, 2020. So there it is. That is what they knew, and that is how they knew. That's how they got their warrant. That's what happened. It's horrifying. Yes, it is what we basically thought, but it's still pretty terrible to see it all there in black and white. Christy and I had recorded earlier today an episode called Chad Daybell, The Making of a Mormon Murderer. We will release that later this evening. So that information is a little dated now with this new info, but it's still good info to understand, particularly about days as a gravedigger. I think that some of the information there will really bring a lot of this into focus. So go ahead and, drop any comments or questions that you guys have. As always, our hearts go out to all of the families affected in this tragedy, in this murder, in these murders. As always, we will continue to, along with everyone else in our community and all of you, continue to fight for justice for JJ, for Tylee, for Tammy, for for Charles, and for Joseph, because there's just so many more. And everyone who's died at the hands of these monsters, we're going to continue to fight for justice, right? All right. Well, stay tuned. I'll get that next episode up here in the next hour and a half or so. But I didn't want to wait. I wanted to make sure that you guys got this info now as it broke. So thanks for being here. Drop your comments and questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Take care, guys.